Yes, sir. Welcome to Professional Pathways with Maleman. I'm super excited about this conversation because, I think I'm fly. I believe I could fly, you know what I'm saying? But this dude is most definitely the flyest. Now, I know you've heard the conspiracy theories, the giant blue horses and, codes and crazy art, but behind it all, Denver International Airport is an absolute powerhouse. If you've flown through Denver, it's not like any other airport. It's massive, it's busy, it's fast-paced, stories, a lot of them, and we're going to fly high today. Joining us today is the big boss, you know what I'm saying, the biggest, the person in charge of it all, the CEO of Denver International Airport, my guy, Phil Washington. What's up, man? How you doing?
Mel, man, it's great to be here. It's just wonderful to be here and wonderful to be on air.
Yes.
To talk about what we're doing at Denver International Airport.
Yeah, and we appreciate you coming through, swinging by, kicking it with the drop. So I do this with all of my guests. I want to check in. I definitely want to do that with you mentally, physically, emotionally. How are you feeling? What's the vibe?
Well, first of all, thank you for asking.
Yes, sir.
I'm feeling good.
Good.
Hey, listen, the inward journey is good.
Right.
And so that is what is important. There's something different every single day, which is exactly how I like it.
Right.
The spontaneity of all of that
Yeah.
is just a really, really good thing. So going very, very well.
That's what's up. I'm really happy to hear that from you. Love that for you, too. So let's get right into it. Is it DIA or DEN?
It is Denver International Airport
Right.
is what it is.
Right.
No, the call sign worldwide is DEN, but most people still call it DIA.
Right. Okay. The people wanted to know, so I just, I be messing up sometimes too. So I just wanted to get that. And what's the vibe like at DEN now, today?
Well, the vibe is, it's like every day. We had last year 82.3 million people.
Goodness.
Come through the airport, an airport that was designed 30 years ago
Right.
for only 50 million. So from 50 million to 82.3 in 2024,
That's crazy.
it is incredible.
Yeah.
And so the volume of people that come through there that's going all over the world is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up. It's a lot of people every time I go to DIA, but all the people do their thing. Like everyone plays their role, and it's usually smooth for me. What does a day in the life look like for you as the CEO of DEN?
Well, I'll say this. I have a stakeholder wheel. And this
Okay.
wheel, if you can envision a wheel with different people that you deal with,
Okay.
right? And my position as a CEO is in the middle of that wheel. And so we've got airlines, we've got the United States Department of Transportation,
Right.
we got the Federal Aviation Administration,
Right.
we have the government at all levels,
True.
state, federal, local. We have, the airlines, many airlines there.
Well, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah. So, in that stakeholder wheel, there's probably about 25 to 30 folks named in that wheel that we deal with every day.
Okay.
And on any given day, I'm dealing with multiple folks within that stakeholder wheel. So it's always something different. We have a huge ecosystem with 41,000 employees out there. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity at Denver International Airport. I'm just saying, and DEN is one of the busiest airports in the whole country. You know what I'm saying? So how do you maintain growth while also maintaining travelers' experience?
Yeah, great question, Mel, man. The first thing that I think about, and I tell people that we're the third busiest airport in North America. We're the sixth busiest airport in the entire world. And so
That's crazy.
when you have, when it's that busy,
Right.
There's frequently things going on that you didn't expect. And I should say that we're blessed to have more space than any other airport in the world except for one in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
So in terms of land mass,
Right.
we have more land mass, which allows us to do a lot of different things in terms of development. We have a large real estate program that people may not know.
Yeah, I don't know that. I didn't know that.
It's an aerotropolis that we're building out there. An aerotropolis that is aviation focused, and also a lot of development in terms of real estate that goes out there too.
Nice. And would you say that aerotopia?
Aerotropolis.
That is fly. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what's up. I like that. What steps are the airport taking to become more environmentally friendly?
Yeah, that is very, very important to us. When I assumed the CEO role 4 years ago, I said that I wanted the airport to be the greenest airport in the entire world. So we have one of the largest solar arrays of any airport in the world. We are in the midst of what I call a performance energy contract, and that performance energy contract allows us to regulate the lights, allows us to regulate water in terms of conservation.
Right.
And so all of those things, we plugged all of the abandoned oil wells at the airport when I first got there. I said when I got there that we wanted to plug about 60 or so abandoned oil wells. It was costing us more to maintain these abandoned oil wells than to close them down. And so we're also looking at how we can eliminate something called PFAS, which is sort of like the forever chemical that we're trying to eradicate actually around the world. It's in firefighting foam. And that sort of thing. So we're looking for replacements for that. So environmentally and sustainability are very, very important to us. The sustainability part of this is how we build our projects, building them to lead standards, if you will. So the sustainability and environmental, very, very important to us. And the last thing I'll mention is sustainable aviation fuel. We're moving towards sustainable aviation fuel versus jet fuel, which will make the environment more clean and reduce our carbon footprint.
Wow, we truly appreciate you taking care of the earth and taking care of the travelers, man. That's super dope. We appreciate that. What would you say one of your biggest challenges as CEO has been?
One of my biggest challenge is always making sure that we have really good customer service out there. It's probably not one single thing. It's making sure passengers feel comfortable. Think of this as a journey map. When you leave your house, we're tracking you, not in a bad way.
Right. I'm like, uh-oh.
Not in a bad way, but when you leave your house, that journey starts there until you sit down on the aircraft.
Right.
And so when you drive down Pena or catch the A-line, to the airport, we are wanting to make sure your journey is good from the time you leave the house till you sit on the aircraft. So that means our security area, making that tight, making sure the concessions where people can eat and all of that is tight, making sure, you may have heard about what we're doing on Pena Boulevard. We're going through an environmental process to determine how we fix Pena Boulevard, because with all of the volume of travel, there's too many cars on Pena Boulevard. And so what do we do about that? So we think about that journey all the way till you're sitting down on the aircraft. So everything involved with that journey is of interest to my team.
That's deep. That's what's up. So DIDEN is home to, like, I think I heard more than 230 like public art pieces. You know what I'm saying? What are some of the ways that Denver International Airport is supporting and empowering Colorado artists?
Well, that is very, very important to us. It's really important to every airport that I know. And the art, as a matter of fact, I think you were there when we dedicated a piece of art from Detour.
Detour, that's my boy. Shout out Detour.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we put out a solicitation or a request for proposal for an art piece. We might lay out, kind of what we're looking for. We kind of leave that as open as we possibly can. We lay out the dimensions of the space and all of that, and we take proposals from folks. We have an art committee. And if we get, for example, 5 proposals for one area, we evaluate that.
Good, because I was gonna ask, like, what's the steps to like featuring an art piece in DIA? So
Yeah, we evaluate that.
Yeah.
We say, that committee says, which art piece is best for that particular area. We select that. We ask the artist to fabricate that, and we install that.
Right.
And so we have a lot of art in the airport. And one of the most important things to me is to make sure that we provide an opportunity for young artists
Heck yeah.
to have a space in the airport too. And
Nice.
so that becomes very, very important because you want a diversity of art pieces,
for sure,
right?
for sure.
And so that becomes very important, and I think we have that diversity of art in the airport.
Nice. And yeah, shout out to Detour. And there's just a lot of amazing art all throughout the airport. So, we love what you're doing up there. So the airport recently announced new routes and new partnerships and even I think a new airline or two. Like, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. When I arrived at Denver International Airport, I set and our team set a vision that I call Vision 100. And there's 4 pillars in that vision. The first is empowering people.
Right.
And so making sure people have an opportunity at the airport. The second are the projects that we do, and we have a lot of them. The third is asset management, taking care of what we already have, which is a whole big piece,
Yes,
right?
facts.
Asset
Facts.
management. And the fourth is expanding our global connections. Now, that fourth has to do with negotiating with airlines to bring new flights here. And I'm happy to say we've been very, very successful with that. This week, the week of April 27th, 28th,
28th, yeah.
we have a new flight to Rome, Italy.
Wow.
We are leaving for Rome on this Thursday,
We going
May
to Rome,
1st.
y'all.
We going to Rome, Mailman. We going to Rome, and we might have something to do with the conclave.
Hey, when in Rome,
not really.
do as.
But that is a new flight. On Wednesday,
That's what's up.
we have the largest passenger aircraft in the entire world that will be at Denver International Airport, the A380 that seats over 500 people. That aircraft will start daily service from Denver to Munich, Germany.
Wow.
And so we have a direct flight there. So in addition to the direct flight to Rome, last year we started a direct flight to Istanbul, Turkey. We also started a direct flight to Dublin, Ireland.
Wow.
And so
Just direct from Denver straight. That's crazy.
Direct from Istanbul is our longest haul flight, about 13 hours and 45 minutes. And so this is opening the world to Denver.
Yeah.
This is what this is. And so we're very, very proud of that.
Heck yeah.
The next thing that I see on the horizon that I've been working on is a direct flight to the continent of Africa.
Okay, talk about it.
The continent of Africa is one of our targets, most likely the country of Ethiopia.
Okay.
We went and visited Ethiopia about a year and a half ago and talked to the government there. Ethiopian Airlines is owned by the government. The idea of opening the Rocky Mountain region to the continent of Africa and the exchange of cultures that go with that is a priority of mine in terms of international travel.
Yeah, all of that is dope. All of that is dope, and I'm going to Rome with you. So
Let's go.
Definitely
Pack your
take me
stuff.
with you. You feel me? So mentioned earlier, conspiracy theories and underground tunnels and aliens and all of that stuff. What do you have to say about those conspiracy theories and all of the yip yap?
Well, I'll say this: there's a lot going on now. If you go to our basement, right, it's a whole city down there.
That's
crazy. It's people down there. It's bags moving and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So I won't validate the aliens, but what I will say is that we got Lucifer out there.
Lucifer out there,
Lucifer,
for sure.
the big blue
He outside.
Lucifer with the red eyes. And someone asked me this before. They said, "Hey, when are you gonna get rid of Lucifer?" And I said, "As long as I'm there, we never getting rid of Lucifer."
Lucifer's here to stay.
That's right, because it ain't cursing me if I get rid of it. So I won't confirm the aliens, but look, I will say that there's a whole city underneath that airport.
Well, shoot, it's a city inside the airport, and just in general. You know, airports are like mini cities, so I wouldn't doubt it. Talk about some hidden gems at the airport.
Well, one of the things that I would consider, it's not too hidden anymore, but one of the priorities that I had when I first got there was to open up the airport to young people in the region. There are tons of young people, underprivileged young people that will never get on an airplane. That may never get on an airplane. I didn't get on an airplane until I joined the United States Army.
Wow.
And I was in the Army for 25 years, and I didn't get on an airplane until I left Chicago.
That's crazy.
So there's a lot of people that live in communities right here in the Denver metro area that will never get on a flight. We want to open up the airport, and we want to show these young people that there are career pathways in the infrastructure space, and it does not have to only be aviation.
Right.
I was a CEO of RTD as well some years ago.
Yep.
And so showing young people that there are pathways to employment, to careers actually, in the infrastructure space to include aviation. So we have built, and we are building, it'll be done the end of this year, what I call a Center of Equity and Excellence in Aviation that will do three things. The first is create career pathway. A young person comes in and says, hey, I want to be a pilot. We're going to show that young person the career pathways to be a pilot.
Yes.
They want to be an aircraft mechanic. We're going to show them the pathway.
Right.
All the way to from grade school, which we've been in about 200 schools already in the metro area, all the way to senior leadership. So from cradle to grave.
Facts.
And the grave is, of course, the CEO position.
Exactly.
So what we're talking about is showing folks those pathways.
Yeah.
The second big piece is research and innovation.
Okay.
So we want to be the Silicon Valley of aviation right here in the Rocky Mountain region.
Right.
In terms of research and innovation.
Okay.
We are studying megatrends in aviation. What are the megatrends?
Right.
Climate change, all of those things.
Yeah.
What are the megatrends, and how can we mitigate those megatrends?
Right.
We're building that within this center as well. And then the third and final pillar is this whole idea of business development training for small, women-owned, veteran-owned, minority businesses, showing them how to do business in an aviation environment.
Nice.
It is a 9-week course. We show folks how to stand up a concession, how to build a small business in an aviation environment. So that is the hidden gem. We've already started the curriculum and all these things that I'm mentioning. Right. And now we're building the brick and mortar facility where all of this will be held, and it's right at the airport, right under the Westin Hotel.
Wow.
So it's a fantastic thing. Thousands of young people will go through those doors of that center.
Wow, that is beautiful. Professional pathways, too. You just heard it right here. All kinds of opportunity at DEN. A couple more questions. Give travelers a tip when flying through Denver.
I think the biggest tip is to be patient.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, be patient.
Chill out, bro.
Yeah, just chill. And, go through security. Security right now, we have a new security area called the West Security Area that we opened last year. We're going to open the mirror image of that security area, the East Security Area, in August of this year.
Nice.
Both of these and all the projects that we're doing right now are under budget and ahead of schedule. Okay. And those are magic words, right?
Yeah, for real. Under budget, ahead of schedule.
Yes, sir.
Double down.
And so that is very, very important. And all of these projects we're doing, again, are to accommodate the increased numbers. I said earlier, the airport was built for 50 million.
Right.
We're at 82 now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we're nearing 100 in the next couple of years. So we are having, what we're doing is like remodeling your house while you living in it.
Right.
we cannot close the airport. So we're doing those things while the numbers are still escalating and people are there.
Yeah, that's a great tip. My last question, you know, this is a hip hop and R&B station, commercial free, Denver, urban alternative. Give me your top 5 soul singers.
Oh, top 5. Well, hey, Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Marvin
solid.
Gaye. Yeah, Marvin Gaye has to be one of them.
Heck yeah.
I think Layla Hathaway, sort of, you know, new.
Yeah.
You know, not
Yeah,
new.
no,
she's
she's
been
dope.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been around. I would say, let's see, top 5. Those are 2,
That's
right?
2 solid ones, though.
Yeah. I would have to say, there's a guy that I've always liked, you know, when I was in the military. I don't know if he's a soul singer. He's more of a musician.
Okay.
And that's a guy named Joe Sample.
Joe Sample.
Joe Sample started the Jazz Crusaders many years ago.
Okay.
And became a solo artist along the way.
Dope.
So Joe would definitely have to be one.
Okay.
And then a young guy that I had at the airport just last year during my 6-week concert series, which you got to come out there.
I'm pulling up because that sounds lit.
You know, every Sunday for 6 weeks starting the end of July.
Oh, yeah.
Becky Taylor is helping me with that.
Shout out Becky Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young guy named Ty Causey. Ty Causey, Causey.
You just put me on.
Check him out.
Will do.
Ty Causey is a real tough young dude. And then the last one probably would be a lady named Phoebe Snow.
Phoebe Snow.
I don't know if you hip to Phoebe Snow.
I don't know if I'm hip to Phoebe Snow.
See,
I don't think
see
so.
That? See that?
That's 2 people I got to get on.
Phoebe Snow had the most unique voice in terms of a female voice in the business.
That just kind of gave me chills a little bit.
You got to play them, man. Ty Causey and Phoebe Snow. Phoebe Snow made her transition probably about a year ago, but I still listen to her music.
Man, that is a solid top 5.
Yeah.
Phillip Washington, we appreciate you. I know you got a busy day and a busy airport, but we appreciate all the things that you're doing for the city, for travelers, for the environment. You're really doing your big one, big dog. So we appreciate you coming through and kicking with us at the drop.
Well, we appreciate what you do, Mailman. You're very important to the city. I listen to you, and everybody should listen to you.
You heard him.
Yes, sir, on the drop.
That way. Professional Pathways with Mailman on Denver's Urban Alternative 104.7 The Drive.